So I just beat Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and I want to preference this before I even go any further. There's going to be spoilers in this, so if you don't want to be spoiled, click away. I'm giving you a chance, giving you up to 3 seconds, and I'm about to start speaking, I'm about to start talking. And if you ain't beat the game, please go beat the game and then come back to this video. Now, however, I just beat the game. What the fuck, Ubisoft? What the fuck? In the modern day, when you're playing as Layla, it's apparent that this is giving me Assassin's Creed 3 vibes. You got this catastrophe that wiped out the first civilization was looming on the horizon yet again. Something that Desmond Miles kind of, held off for some time in Assassin's Creed 3 with his sacrifice. So they pretty much did the same thing that they did in 3, where you have Juno who comes in, talks Desmond into sacrificing himself to save the planet, gets himself killed, delays the inevitable to Valhalla, all the way up to Valhalla. You have Basim, which that's something else entire, which I haven't even remotely got to yet. But Basim, who turns out to be an Isu Loki, and which was reincarnated. It does kind of tie into the Norse mythos, but he's actually he's an Isu who kind of was reincarnated as Basim, and then you have Eivor, who you play as, reincarnated as Eivor Odin, and then Sigurd, who was originally Tyr, reincarnated as Sigurd. So that's from what I've gathered so far. Now they basically did the same thing that what they did in 3 with Juno and Desmond, they did with Basim and Layla. Basim, and this is going into spoilers, like I said, you and Sigurd go back to Norway, go to the northernmost side to this first civilization temple. And which, leading up to this, I thought Sigurd was batshit crazy, but he wasn't crazy. He was actually right. And turns out that Sigurd, not only was Sigurd right, but Basim, and this is where it got really weird, and I started asking a ton of questions. Like, okay, Basim came and he ended up, in a sense, betraying Sigurd and you, and it's like, what the hell you doing here? And at first you would think that he's working with the Templars, but like I said, you find out he is an Isu, and when he got reincarnated as Basim, he just made a plan where he would infiltrate the assassins, become an assassin, end up using the assassins to get what he wants, so to speak. And he never revealed this to Hytham. Hytham never knew, and this was just hiding, from Hytham. Hytham never knew what the hell was going on. So basically, with Hytham, he doesn't know at all what Basim is doing, what Basim has done, what he's up to. Everything was not an accident. Everything was planned. You have when Basim came to Norway with Sigurd, and this is when Sigurd introduced you to both Basim and Hytham, and you have Basim, of course, give you the hidden blade. He gives you the hidden blade, and Hytham's questioning, like, why would you give him the hidden blade? And he's basically using you, and this is something that's happening under his people's nose. Like, they don't know about this. They don't know that you give an outsider a hidden blade, for fuck's sake. Which I kind of let slide, because I was like, okay, maybe there'll be some type of explanation. No, there was no fucking explanation. There was no explanation. Basim somehow got that blade, talked somebody into giving him a blade so he could use you to get what he wanted, and that's reincarnation. He used you to get what he wanted. So basically, and I'm gonna touch on the problem with the Creed and the Templars as well, but what ends up happening is He tossed Layla Hassan, who was the main protagonist in modern day, which I never gave a fuck about up to this point. She did the same thing Desmond did, sacrifice herself to save the greater good, that sort of thing. And so you have Basim, and mind you, Layla Hassan dropped the staff that you got in Odyssey, playing as Cassandra rather. When he awoke, he fell right onto the staff. So the staff reinvigorated him, brought him back to life, all that, and to where we at now. And with him being brought back to life, it's the same thing with Juno. Juno was out set with the world left to conquer. So this ties in directly to 3. This is a continuation of 3. Now, however, Basim ends up being introduced to both Sean and Rebecca, and basically he ended up killing Layla just to come back in modern day. And you're playing as Basim, a guy who basically killed Layla, who's essentially the villain, and from what it appeared that he's going to be the new modern protagonist. But the way it's setting up to be that Basim is the next villain, who is alive and well, and I guess he's trying to hatch some sort of plan to resurrect the Isu by doing whatever means necessary, it seems. And by this, I'm gonna keep it real with you. As someone who is an Assassin's Creed fan since 2, what the fuck was Ubisoft thinking doing this? You're redoing the same thing that you did in 3. Now, the difference between Desmond and Layla, we gave a fuck about Desmond. We don't really care about Layla. But it's the context. It's the fact you did the same exact fucking thing in 3. You did the same thing in 3, and a lot of people did not like it. So it kind of makes me wonder, will the new fans that you just brought in hate this for what you did? I wonder, will they hate you? Cause me, I don't hate you. I'm just looking at your side like, what the fuck you doing? You got the same problems that happened with 3 happen again. And if that ain't bad enough, you got the whole order, and cause I just beat the game. I'm looking at the map right now. There are some storylines I got left to finish, like the Asgard storyline and the Order of the Ancient storyline. But guess what? I have no fucking intention to completing those storylines. I beat the game. Okay, I got to the ending. I beat the fucking game. I ain't got no fucking interest into going to Asgard. I ain't got no fucking interest to clearing 110%ing the map. I did what I had to do in the map, what I wanted to finish in the map. I'm done. I am done. Okay, and the order, I don't give a fuck about finding out who the Grandmaster is. I know it's King Alfred who's the Grandmaster, which makes no fucking sense. Because he was talking about how him and Goodwin had hatched a plan to destroy the Order from within, and then you had like 3 members of the Order wanted to kill the Grandmaster. Basically, what the absolute fuck? That don't make no sense. Why would 3 members of the freaking Order want to kill their own Grandmaster? That don't make any sense. It makes absolute no fucking sense. And on top of that, you playing as Eivor, giving a hidden blade, like I said. Don't know why they gave you a hidden blade. They just give you a hidden blade, and you're basically a mercenary for Hytham and Basim. But Basim is using the fuck out of you. You're basically their mercenary. You're basically the one who they're using to clear out the Order in England. You're not a member of the Hidden Ones. You don't become a member of the Hidden Ones. You just doing their dirty work without being an official member. Which I guarantee you, Hytham better keep this shit a fucking secret, because if the guy who's running the Order, the Brotherhood, was to find out that you gave not only did you give an outsider the Hidden Blade, but he basically never became a member of the Hidden Ones. He just did y'all's dirty work. You really did that? Are you stupid? You don't give out a blade to somebody and ask them to do your job as a member of the Creed, as a member of the Brotherhood. That just don't sit right with me. And I think this part, that what I just been talking about, irritates me more than this. It confuses me with the whole Bassam shit. It confuses the fuck out of me. It's confusing. I can tell they try to hit a little bit of Kojima weed, but it confuses the mess out of me, and you're redoing the same problems, the same thing you did in 3, which a lot of us OG fans had an issue with that with 3, how you did Desmond. And you're doing it with Layla, a character we don't care about, but it don't mean anything. Oh my god. I don't know where they're going to go with this. I really don't know. And granted, they did, when Layla was, after she had done, I guess, ascended or died, she basically was looking at this tree of different possibilities. Basically, it could be insinuating a multiverse theory, I guess. And she even asked, what if Desmond never did what he did? You had like a different bunch of branching storylines. You had situations where people who survived and they end up learning and possibly preventing another cataclysm. I don't know what the fuck they're gonna do with this. It drives me up the wall, because usually Assassin's Creed stories end on a happy note. They don't really end on a cliffhanger. This is my speculation, right? I'm thinking they're gonna release another Assassin's Creed next year. I think the next Assassin's Creed is coming next year, and they got somebody else working on it so they can explain what the fuck happened. Don't know if it could be a spinoff or a mainline entry, but I can see them doing it next year because of the cliffhanger. This isn't a cliffhanger you just leave dangling for a couple years. This is something you gotta, have something to respond for next year. And granted, if they was coming out with one next year, but if it is coming out next year, if another Assassin's Creed is coming out next year, like they did between going from Origins to Odyssey, then we ain't gonna hear about it till March. So I give it a couple months or so. I wouldn't be surprised if they announced it at the Game Awards, or it kind of has me thinking, if I am right, what if it gets announced at the Game Awards and it's the same kind of thing that they did with Far Cry New Dawn, if it's something like that. I doubt it, but I wouldn't rule nothing out from Ubisoft. At this point, I don't know what the fuck they're doing with the main story. You killed off Layla Hassan, so it kind of makes me wonder are we back to square one? You know what I'm saying? Because we seen what they did going from 3 to Valhalla. Just think about how many years. Going from 3 to Valhalla, that stretch of time, look who you were playing as in the modern day throughout that stretch of time after 3. Okay, so if we're going in sequential order, in Black Flag, you played as an Abstergo employee. And I want to say pretty much going from black games like Black Flag, Rogue, Freedom Cry, Liberation, Unity, Syndicate, all up to Origins, you had us playing as nobody. It was something that they were trying to, I guess, break the fourth wall, but it was whatever at best. It's just like, I don't know where they go from here. Like, they gotta do something, because this shit is a mind fuck. And apart from this, I really thought it was a good game. You still don't play as an assassin, but I just don't know what the fuck they doing. Like, what are y'all doing, bro? Like, seriously, I don't know what the hell Ubisoft is doing with this game, but bro, when I tell you, this is something that they need to explain themselves for quickly. We need something explaining everything, why everything happened. And we don't need them to have this whole multiverse, have a tree going into different branches. Of course there's different stories you can tell in the Assassin's Creed universe naturally, but because of this, Ubisoft has definitely been hitting the crack pipe, and they have absolutely, positively lost their fucking minds.